You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
Wake up to the world you've been missing. Time to jump out of bed in the morning. No day, no life, now we're living. Can you feel it in the air that you're breathing? Time to show 'em what you're made of. Let's get back on track. Are you ready for a come on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Are you ready now? You're lifting off the ground. Welcome back. No calming down. Can you feel it all around? Welcome back.
Well, hello and welcome back, Super Mega Crash siblings. I know I sound just, I'm trying to process. I did not even know if I wanted to do this today. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I would have made you cheer up anyway, though.
Yeah.
Or pretend to.
Hmm.
No, we
So, I'm just going to cut right to it. I know people are just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is a different vibe from the start.
Right. Why are we starting this way?
So this episode that you're hearing is coming out much sooner and unexpectedly. Let's just say that, unexpectedly, because this was not our topic of conversation that we had planned for today. Oh, no. No, that episode is probably lost to time unless a miracle can happen between now and whenever.
Yeah, PC magic.
Because we both had just terrible fucking weekends.
It's been a shit weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is not even the weekend that you're coming at this episode.
Probably
unless
not. Unless you're switching things. I don't know.
I doubt
May
it.
as well.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, who knows?
Yeah.
So, Lace, I mean, I haven't vented about mine on Discord, but I mean, obviously, people know what happened to you, at least if you're in the Discord.
Yeah, just some asshole thought it would be hilarious, I guess, to just break my car window in the middle of the night. Didn't steal anything. Didn't try to steal the car. Just, haha, you know what I'll think will be funny? Wasting this woman's time and money. And, yeah, so
And I
me
don't.
blissfully at 7 a.m. walking to my car thinking I'm going to go do some fun stuff today. And, oh, I guess I'm going to be doing this today. Okay. Yeah.
And as I said to you, I don't understand the mindset. I don't get why you would just smash a window. Again, you said nothing was stolen, and I'm glad nothing was stolen, but at the same time, there's no purpose to it anymore.
Right. I would have rather, I think, seen things rifled through. I don't know, honestly, if it would make me feel better, because I've had my car broken into before. Not this one, a separate car. And it was definitely like shit was all over the place. Like they were looking for stuff. And I'm guessing it was because this was close to Christmas. When my car was broken into there, people probably thinking, oh, there's going to be gifts in the trunk of the car or whatever. Because it wasn't just my car. It was several cars in a parking lot that all got hit.
Yeah.
And all of our cars were just like overturned looking for stuff. And clearly I had nothing in there, just junk. So they just made a bigger mess of the car I already had made a mess of. So yeah, at least then I'm just like, well, this sucks. But now I'm just like feel targeted for no reason. I don't know. I don't know who I would have pissed off or anything. I just think probably somebody thought it would be hilarious for whatever reason, or I don't know, hit it with something when they were tomfoolering around outside, but still just took off and decided to not leave a note. So
Yeah.
I don't know what else there is to say, except if you're that type of human, I hope you get hit by a car and that it's very painful, because I don't have empathy for people who just don't care about other human beings because life is shit to you. So let's make everyone else's life shit too along the way. You know, you're not a happy person.
And in the slim possibility this person is listening right now, and you were the one who smashed her window in, fuck you, and I
Up
will
the
come
goat's ass.
find you and smack you upside the head. I don't mean beat the hell out of you. I'm going to smack you around like a bitch.
Right. Box the ears a little bit, you know, just not a lot of damage, but enough that you're going to be fucking hurting, you know? Yeah. Yeah. It's a rage where I'm like, oh, why was this even necessary? But
yeah. Well, as I even told you, and I don't know if I've ever shared this on any podcast, matter of fact, but you know, you were talking about this feeling of being violated, and
yeah, like your privacy is just gone all of a sudden. Yeah.
Like there was a time I think I told you in 2004, 2005, within that range, the house that I was living in got burglarized. And I've never had that happen before.
Yeah.
And what was interesting about it is, from my perspective, they knew what they were coming there for. Like, absolutely knew what they were coming for, and had to know how to get in. Because what was interesting about it is there was no forced entry, but there was a window that you could access and slide open. And I noticed after the fact, like after I realized, because when I got home, I didn't realize I'd been hit. Like, the day that I came home, I'd come home early and I had to go pick up my kids from the babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of glanced around the house, and then I left and then came back. And then that's when I realized. But the way the situation had happened is there was we had something sitting outside. It was pushed up to the window that you could slide open. They climbed
so they
in.
could step up.
Yeah. So they knew about that window because I had done that before myself. You know, like I accidentally locked myself out and slid that window open.
I've been shoved in a window in a situation where that happened before when I was a much tinier human. So I guess that's common with those kind of windows. You're like, you know what? I can get you in there. Can you unlock the door?
Right.
Wow.
So they knew how to get in. They knew about the window. That's why I honestly targeted our neighbors as culprits, but the cops talked to them and found nothing, but still.
Or friends of theirs, maybe someone who would have like seen you do that, or I mean, I guess it could have been a random walking by and going, I wonder if that window's open, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But when they got in, one of the first clues that hit is there was a bag full of trash, like a small little bag, like they had dumped it out on the counter, and I'm guessing they were just trying to find a bag to carry whatever they were going to steal in, and then went into our bedroom and stole a big duffel bag because I noticed that was missing too. Furthermore, all they took really were the movies off my movie shelf, and they were very selective, which was really weird because they didn't.
Oh shit! They went shopping, eh?
Yeah, they didn't take them all. They grabbed a good portion of them and then left a handful behind. And then a few video games as well.
Maybe they thought that was their kindness.
I guess. Assholes. But what was interesting about it too, and I'm so grateful that I had this set up at the time because I would have lost so much more. I honestly, truly believe this. Is we had this big TV stand, and sitting in it had cabinet doors on the side and then cabinet doors on the bottom. And on the left side, it was like had the glass paneling. And we had some Sega Genesis games just kind of peppered in there. I don't know why we had them. I don't know, because I didn't have a Genesis. But we just had them laying there, and they took them. My GameCube and all my games were underneath the television in the open door. Like I had a set up to where you just open the door. There's the GameCube. There's all the games, controllers, and everything. Didn't touch them. Didn't even see them.
Interesting that you wouldn't open that up.
I guess they thought maybe it would be trash because we had the one video game sitting there.
McFly, the valuables are never just laying right out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm glad they didn't. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be like, why didn't they steal it?
No.
That is kind of amazing that they, wouldn't bother to like look further into the thing they're already stealing things out of.
Maybe they were on a time crunch. I even worried at one point that perhaps they were still in my house when I came home originally. I don't know that.
Right.
Because again, I wasn't looking for anything. I didn't see anything.
Well, why would you think? Yeah, you're just coming home to do something real quick. Yeah.
So it was like only after the fact when I got back and I noticed the trash, and then something just like spider sense was just going psycho.
Something's not right here. Yeah.
And then I turned the corner, looked at my movie shelf, and it was just bare, and I was like, what the fuck? But again, that seems to be all they really took. They didn't mess with anything else. I even had recently bought like a handheld camera. They didn't touch it. So
that seems like the dumbest criminals. You're not going to take anything of real value. To make your life hell for nothing of real value.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, when that happened that night, it was just like we were so on edge. Like we just did not feel comfortable in that house anymore. And was like, we have to move. Like,
Yeah.
we really have to, because this does not feel like home anymore.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you don't know. I mean, again, even knowing that they got in, knowing how they got in, it was just the matter of, this does not feel safe to us
Yeah,
anymore.
unless you've had it happen, like I don't know how to explain the feeling either. You know, it's just like, this doesn't feel like where I'm supposed to be anymore. I feel like I've been violated somehow.
Yeah.
Like even driving the car, I'm just like, is someone behind me? There's just this weird feeling. I know nobody's in there,
hmm
you know, but it just feels weird sitting in your own property now. And that's
Yeah.
all the best I can explain it. But God, I'm sorry.
But
Thankfully, I've never been through something like that. People just
Mhm.
like to keep breaking into my cars.
yeah. But I mean, it's that similar situation, like you said. You just don't feel right in it, and it just feels foreign to you. And your home is supposed to be your safe space,
Right.
That's supposed to be the one place you can go, and you just feel 100% safe. If you can't do that, then
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Yeah, like your mental health will deteriorate like nothing. You
Mm-hmm.
know, a lot of it is situational because you can't get yourself out of situations. You
Yeah.
know,
But
well, I'm happy you were able to get yourself out of that situation at least.
yeah,
You know.
I mean, it felt like a step backwards, because I was really working on that movie collection, and then there it went.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really pissed me off, granted, I've gotten, like, it matters. It's just things and whatnot. But I had recently acquired the Criterion Collection unrated RoboCop, DVD, and I was like so happy because it was like all the gore footage that they cut out in the X-rated version, and I was like, yeah. And then they stole that son of a bitch, and I was like, motherfucker. I was so happy to have that. And it was rare, but now obviously they practically put it in every cut. It's like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So-
Well, still,
But still,
yeah.
it was
It's
cool.
still, it's just the fact that they're able to steal your joy for a minute for no other reason than just to be a dick or whatever it is. Like that's what. Yeah.
And,
Like
and
you just have no empathy for another human being, just like how much trouble you're putting them through for this 5 minutes of whatever you thought was fun. No fucking care about it, you know?
But the funny thing is, like I said, they were very selective. The one thing that almost, I guess I could feel like was some sort of, I really don't know how to say it, because it's one thing that's gotten me through so much, especially in some of my darker days. They didn't touch and this was before the show had really gained in popularity again. I think it was about to blow up again. But I had recently acquired the first, what would have been at the time, the entire series of Family Guy, which was just 2 volumes on DVD before they had revived it. They didn't touch
Right.
them. They were still sitting there right where they were, like they just picked around it because they didn't know what the show was at the time.
So no one of culture stole anything from your asset.
Yeah. And I just thought, well, I guess I still have that. And, they're still on my shelf to this day. So
There you go. The survivors.
I find that to be interesting because, like I said, Family Guy is one of those shows that has gotten me through some dark days because, I found joy in it, and just kind of got me through.
I
But
guess you could at least put those in that evening and been like, well, if it'll help me feel better at all, I guess at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
it was a hard night. I remember that.
Oh, for sure.
But my car was not broken into, and you're probably wondering, what are you bitching about? I've lost everything again, and I say again because I had a situation a few years back where my external hard drive that I had accidentally fell on the floor because my kid was playing around, and I wasn't trying to be mad at her because she was a kid, but it was just like,
Right.
what the fuck? And so everything that I had accumulated over the years and saved, all my projects, everything that's on YouTube, all the hard files, man cave, all the original footage is just gone. And now it's happened again with my fancier, less, I thought more durable hard drive has apparently
Right.
been corrupted, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to salvage everything, which means we lost 3 episodes of this show,
Yeah,
perhaps,
yeah.
if I can't recover it. And I know everyone listening has probably got a solution. Yes, I have gone through so many.
Spent probably a good part of the whole day
Yeah. Downloading different programs, different things, looking up different things, even trying to go through command prompts through, MS-DOS to get access to it, and nothing is working, and I don't know what's going on. And I'm just frustrated because putting this episode together, I know I can get certain files together and make it work. But everything was right there.
Right, yeah.
And now it's like starting from scratch all over again. Furthermore, what really pisses me off is if I can't get it back, there's an entire almost finished episode of Super Mega Crash Adventures that is gone.
Ugh.
The one that I've been working on for years now that I've been meaning to finish. I was even thinking the other day, I was like, well, what if I just at least process what I've done, and then at least I can finish the rest as I go, but at least that'll be done, and then I'll have that. It's all gone now. And the reason I wanted to talk about this today, because I just needed to process it, because I felt like I was going through fighting depression and anxiety at the same time, because I just felt so defeated, so done about everything. But then there was also this anxiousness. It's like, what am I going to do about tomorrow? What am I going to do about this episode? What am I going to do about this? And so I'm sitting here just being so fucking done with everything. Just be like, I'm just going to quit everything, the hell with it. But then also still worrying about putting out content. Yeah. And I was just like, why am I pulling at both sides of this?
Your brain's trying to figure it out. Your brain's trying to protect you. Like, if you're just done, then you won't have to worry about this anymore, and it won't bother you. But you enjoy creating content, so you know you're going to feel horrible if you just give it up altogether and don't try. So your brain's trying to protect you, but fighting itself.
Yeah. And boy, oh boy, I don't like depression and anxiety doing that.
No,
because
I might be familiar with that.
Yeah, because
it's not a good place to be.
I can't it was making it very hard to go to sleep last night. I mean, it stuck with me from about the time I messaged you till bedtime.
Probably first thing you woke up with too.
Yeah, I still have it right now. Like I'm experiencing it right now. Just this feeling in your gut that it just won't go away, and I want it to go away, and I've been trying to figure out a way to just put my mind at ease so it'll just fade. Like I was even struggling to, the grandkids came over and spent the night last night, and I wanted to enjoy that, but at the same time, I was just feeling that hopelessness on top of it, and I was just like, I just want to put it aside. I want to just compartmentalize it, but it was not happening. Yeah. And it feels unproductive. It feels like it shouldn't matter. But that's a lot of work that's been put into stuff. I think that's why
we end up feeling worse, honestly, because we're constantly, and this is the reason why we've had this conversation a little bit on past pods about like how people like to play trauma Olympics or something like that back and forth. We're trying so hard to make light of our own struggles because we know other people have it so much worse. So why do I even have the audacity to be upset about something this small? Again, your body isn't understanding. And I think the whole world news understanding everyone being connected to that has caused other kind of mental disorders because everyone wants to pass off your little thing as too little because, well, I know this person who's starving. I know this person who doesn't have, and all legitimate, but that doesn't mean I'm not allowed to grieve and process through what's bothering me right now. And I think that's the reason why we can't get over things nearly as easy is because we're constantly trying to make light of our own issues. And our brain's like, but I don't see what you're talking about here. This is trouble right now. We need to figure this out. I'm protecting you. If we, and then the more you try to not think about it, I think we all know what happens then. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the only thing you think about. So.
Yeah, it frustrates me to know him because I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, it's 20 years of work. And I know it's still out there. Technically, it's still out there with a few exceptions. But I honestly feel like the Super Mega Crash Adventures thing is what's really stinging, because there was so much work that I have accumulated over the years to try and every frame, every little, and genuinely, I feel like I still have some of that, because I do have this solid state drive that I used at one point to do some transfers, and I don't think I ever erased it, but
So
I feel like
lost some, but not all, maybe.
I feel like I've got some safety nets in here, but to what degree, I don't know. Like the entire assembled animation that I've done for that episode, I'm sure that's kaput, like gone.
Yeah.
So I would have to start from scratch, which, thinking about it, just the anxiety.
You not want to.
Yeah, the anxiety comes back because I got so far, and then you're just like, no, you're gonna have to restart again. It's like, God damn it.
And it's hard to get that motivation to start it all over again.
Yeah. I mean, it was already struggling because I was having motivational problems to finish it. And it was just, I think a lot of that stemmed from the lack of response, you know? I genuinely kind of see it as, I kind of see it from a television network standpoint, where no one's watching your thing and you're just like, fuck it, cancel it.
Well, it's interesting. The first couple did like stupid high, like not even, I would have never guessed that many people would have watched it. And then I think it was like normal after that. But
Yeah,
I still think it's, if 20, 30 people are enjoying it, that's a pretty full small theater. Or, like if you put it in that perspective, like that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And if they end up enjoying it more, it could be a slow burn. Hopefully they like it, put it through at other people's eyeballs. But yeah, you and I never really mastered the whole marketing thing. That's it. And I still don't know how. And I think I'm getting past the point where I'm like, am I even gonna figure it out? Because by the time I figure out this one, y'all are gonna come up with something else.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not boomer, but I feel very boomer now. Like, you got 70,000 social medias. I don't know what you guys want to read or that, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, like you said, the first 3 did really well, and then 4 just tapered off, and that was the one that I was the most proud of, because it was the most ambitious. It was a little longer, but the work that I put into that, like COVID, much as I don't want to like give it any kind of praise, but that month that I was off of work, I spent working on that, doing all the little details. And that's, again, the one I put the most work into to really make sure that it was up to the standards I wanted to. I wasn't cutting corners. I wanted you to look at the video game part of it and be like, holy shit, that's like the video game. All the little extra stuff that's coming at you. The palace itself, I designed and created every single backdrop for all of that. The most work. And people are like, 100 views, and it's like, fuck, man. And that's what's discouraging.
Hey, we're in the day and age where people are watching TikTok people act like NPCs for hours on end. I don't understand things anymore.
Yeah. I don't either.
When I saw that was a trend and how much money they're making, I'm like, I've officially lost touch. Would it be entertaining to me for maybe a minute or so? Sure. But hours on end every day? Yeah, I don't know what you guys want to see anymore. I don't get it.
I don't either. And I thought, I know that there are other channels on YouTube out there, like Lowbrow and Dorkly. They do these video game characters doing weird stuff, and I'm amused by it. But they get thousands of views on theirs, and same concept.
People just get the algorithm better too. Like
I guess.
I'm not trying to downgrade their hard work. I'm sure they put in a lot of hard work with it and all that kind of stuff, and lots of things we don't see. But yeah, to me, it's just like, I think some people just get it more than others. The passion doesn't matter. The older I get, the more I realize that you should stop telling your children you could be whatever you want to be when you grow up. Can you? Sure. Will you? Probably not. So maybe stop setting them up for you're going to be whatever you want to be, for that horrible disappointment when they're in their midlife crisis. Because they thought that they were supposed to be something that they never became. I don't know. Just stop lying to kids that there's just all these. I know I'm sounding dark. Don't give them hopes and dreams. But I'm just like, be real with them. You know?
And another thing I do want to address too, before this also gets brought up in comments and what have you, about the cloud. I'm aware of the cloud. I know of the cloud, and I have backed up a lot of shit on the cloud. But at the same time, there's money to be made from the cloud, money that I was not forking out for the amount of space.
Nothing's free.
This was a 5 terabyte hard drive. Okay, I figured that would last me for a long time.
Yeah,
And no.
it should have.
So I didn't feel the need to pay for a cloud, even though it had crossed my mind as a possibility to be like, you know what, maybe just to have backup. And these were, I feel like from now on, if I'm having these thoughts, I need
Just
to
do
act
it.
on them because
Yeah.
it's almost like I've had several thoughts like this over the past week or so. Almost like red flagging me to be like, hey, you need to kind of get on this now because clearly something's about to happen. So I'm going to have to start paying attention to my brain when it does that because, everything that I was thinking, you need to process this, you need to do this, you need to look into that. If I had done those things, I would be like, well, the hard drive crapped out, but I've still got it backed up. I'm good. I'm safe. I
Right.
feel good.
The anxiety would have been less.
Oh, yeah. I would have just been like, it sucks that's crapped out, but at least I still have my stuff. So, yeah, it's something I'll consider, but I've got to get over this hump now because I'm still in this.
I get it, honestly. I do, And I'm sure there's probably plenty of people listening going, yeah, I get it. And it's just however much time it's going to take for it to not feel as intense.
Yeah.
There are things we can do. And if you want, we can chat about that later. But some stuff that I've had to implement in my own day so I could just do regular things. Yeah. So,
Well, even like right now, just processing like the episodes, the whole purpose, like we mentioned, we were kind of recording ahead, so we kind of put it out. So now I feel like I've just been set back 3 weeks.
yeah.
And
So you wouldn't have to be stressed all the time trying to get something up right the F away.
yeah, and I've even been taking that time, like the first few episodes, when you listen to them. I don't know if you'll notice any differences to Super Mega Crash episodes, but I was actually going through and just kind of doing a little polish here and there and just little tweaks just for my own benefit because I had the time to do it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to take a little extra time. I want to try to make some adjustments here and there. Like if I want to make this or take that out or, little sounds that you're probably hearing, any uhs that I may be doing along the way because I do that all the time. I know I do.
Please don't try that with me. You'd be so like, yeah.
But it's funny too, even as I say that, it's when I've noticed it myself that, I'm doing it because I even do that. I just did it right now where I'll just trying to process my words and I'll say, because my brain is trying to keep up.
Those throwaway words, yeah.
But I've listened to other podcasts, more professional, the big, money-making podcasts, and I've
People who
noticed
get paid.
so many people do it, and it makes me feel good in a way that
It's a human thing, I think. Like, it's just those, like how hard I keep trying to not say like all the time. Somewhere along the way, that was the word my brain decided to keep using while we're thinking about what needs to go next.
Mhm.
And then when I'd listen to it back at how often it was coming out, I'm like, I sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
Not that anybody who talks like that is necessarily a moron, but when you've tried to talk to someone who says that so much that eventually you're like, oh my God, I couldn't even listen to me. How you've been listening to me all of these years, I don't understand. I don't know. So maybe it's something that bothers me more than it bothered other people. But man, I just remember listening to back a couple of those episodes. How have I gotten so flaky sounding?
No.
And I don't know that I've gotten perfect with it. I feel like I've gotten better, but I'm actively trying to think about it, which sometimes also makes it harder to remember what I'm going to say next. So then it's more like a pause, like she's just frozen up. I don't want to use like. What do I put here? What were we saying? And then I've lost the whole thread.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. It's humans do these things. Yeah, no matter how, and I think the ones that you hear where there's not a bunch in it, just like you said, they probably have someone going through there and tightening it up. I've even seen people using programs to try to take out spaces and stuff that almost made it sound worse because nobody talks that close together, even in their own speech. So when you're taking out every single pause, you're going a little overboard.
Yeah. No, I don't go that far.
I'm just saying I've heard those.
Yeah. No, as far as what I'll do is 9 times out of 10, and I actually kind of noticed this with, I think one of the last episodes I recorded, probably the one that came out last week. You know, for those of you listening, as the conversation was going, there was nothing about it that was bothering me, and that's what I'm kind of looking for or listening for. Like if there's something like the, or, you know, like if I catch myself and I can smash that together as like one coherent sentence, I'll do that. If I can't fix it or if it sounds off, then I'll just be like, well, fuck it. I'll move along. But
yeah,
I was listening to the conversation we were having and it was just flowing. And I realized I had not cut anything. And I thought, well, clearly nothing was bothering my ear. So
right. I'll believe it. Yeah.
So I just left it alone.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of hoping that no one else notices. And no one has complained before.
No.
So
I didn't notice, and I've actually listened to the first couple of back this time where I was like, you know what? I'm going to remember what I said this time when people start talking about it in Discord, where I'm like, oh, did I say that? Yeah, no, I did. Okay, so
yeah,
jump back into the convo. Guys, it's not a steel trap anymore. My days just kind of come and go.
That is the worst part of it. Even as we were doing it week to week, like day of, and people come back and quote us, and I'm like, what did I say?
Remember, I wish I could remember what it was because you had brought up something that someone had said like on a comment or whatever, since I don't have access to all of the reviews or whatever. And whatever it was we had said, and I said that. And you're like, I don't remember. And I'm like, it does sound like something I would say though. And you were like, it really does. And so I guess I had to have, I didn't want to go back through the whole 2 hours to see what it was, where it was, but I just had to agree that sounds like something I would have said or would have thought. So I believe you that I said that. I just don't remember. Yes, it was 3 days ago. Sorry, guys.
So I don't want to harp on this much longer. This is going to be a much shorter episode than we've had probably since our 0 episode. But I just this is a great example of everything that we've been talking about. This was I think we even mentioned that in the 0 episode. If we had a bad day and we wanted to vent about it, that's what we're going to do.
That's what we're going to do.
That's what we're doing. This is a mini episode, if you want to call it that. I'm just going to call it a regular episode. We just had to get this off our chest because I needed to find a way to process it. I feel, I guess, a little better, but not really.
Right. It's always we think it'll feel better and maybe for a slight few seconds afterwards, but then your brain kicks back in and it's, well, I did nothing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, brain. You should say that a lot, but not sarcastically. Just thank you.
Yeah, thank you, brain. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I understand you're trying to protect me, but we're okay right now, so we don't. But thank you. Maybe it'll eventually believe you. I don't know. We have to lie to ourselves a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's part of being an adult, I think, so you can wake up every morning.
So we won't go any longer with this. We've actually got something more fun to talk about, I think.
We do.
So
we do.
You'll get to hear that, I guess, next week, since we don't have anything, unless hell freezes over. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, well, shoot. Yeah. No. Maybe wait till we get like some real alien bodies, right?
Yeah. Anyway.
Things that won't happen.
Sure. I'm not even going to go through all the usual things. You know, all the links are down below and all that jazz. So until next week, go beyond your limits.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.